やあ諸君
Okay. Cut to a different scene.
当主様は具合が優れられないとのことだ
When is it his best?
せっかくこうして1年ぶりの会合に集まってくれた諸君と昼食を共にできないことを非常に残念にしておられた
I'm sure he's all torn up about it. Me personally, I would have no reason to lie and just, yeah, he's in his typical cranky mood. I've told him multiple times to put the bottle down, but he hasn't, so, that's unfortunate.
ゴーダランチを始めてくれ
Fuck Goda.
かしこまりました。それでは本日の昼食を始めさせていただきます。
I'm sure he worked real hard on it.
南條先生、そんなにお父様のお具合は悪いの？せめて顔くらい見せてくれてもいいわよね。
Not if he doesn't like you.
体調というよりは機嫌ですな。
That's a good answer.
こればかりはつける薬がありませんので。
おいおい、機嫌ってまたかよ。そりゃないぜ。こちとら秋のクソ忙しい時期にスケジュール都合してご機嫌伺いに来てるんだ。
Yeah, I don't think he cares how busy or not busy you guys are.
それはよ。
よかったじゃないかルドルフご機嫌は伺えたんだ
No, good point.
それとも不機嫌な親父殿を私に代わりお前が説得して連れてきてくれるのか
I would not envy that position. Oh god. I don't want to have to actually even live near the bastard.
まさか。
Exactly. Rudolph shrugged. Apparently, though, Rudolph was willing to be indignant at how self-centered his father was. He wasn't particularly disappointed to be spared a face-to-face meeting.
夕食までにはその機嫌治りそうなの？
Probably not.
クロス兄さん。
そんなことは知らんよ親父殿に直接聞いてみるといい
Fuck off.
もっとも声をかけない方が機嫌の治りは早いと思う
I think his mood will improve better when he puts the bottle down.
源氏さんだけだよ。じい様の機嫌を直せるのは。情けないぜ。自分の親の機嫌を使用人に直させるんだからよ。
ジェシカ余計なことは言わなくていい
Okay, well, fuck you, Dad. She'd planned for her complaint to be heard only by her cousins, but it reached even across his ears. Scolded, Jessica scowled and turned away sulking.
機嫌がうんぬんってことは病状はそんな悪くないんじゃねえの？元気がないってんならともかく機嫌が悪いってのは少なくとも気はしっかりしてる証拠だぜ。
Sadly, he still has his... Well, I wouldn't give him that much credit that he has his wits about him. I think he's fucking insane. But, he's still breathing.
おじい様は特に強い気力をお持ちだからね。でも体が必ずしもそれに伴えるとは限らないよ。
And I can only imagine how happy everyone will be when that day happens.
去年からずっと余命3ヶ月って言われ続けてる。
This is the longest fucking 3 months.
最初の診断が正しいならおじい様は気力だけで流られてるってことになる。
That sucks.
気遣ってあげないといけないよ。
I don't think they actually worry as much, because he seems like a bastard. Lunch started with the family's head seat is still empty. The man who should be sitting there had already grown old. And the brilliant glory which had rebuilt the Ushiromiya family in the span of a single lifetime was being forgotten. Even though they were beginning the meal with that seat still empty, no one felt it was that odd anymore. It seems like it's just... Oh god. That fucking transition scene gets me every fucking time. Anyways. But I mean, of course it's not going to be odd. He's fucking grumpy as shit. He's an alcoholic. Of course he's going to miss a bunch of shit. The Ushiromiya family conference was held once every year on the first weekend of October. If a normal family were to hold a so-called family conference, you'd expect it to be nothing more than a reunion of rarely seen relatives who greet each other around buckets of sushi or something. However, part of the family's great fortune had been lent out to grandfather's children, and no one in the family was considered an adult until they had met with success in business. So this meeting literally was a conference. How much of the fortune was invested? What sort of business was conducted? How much profits was earned? As a result, how much of the fortune borrowed from the main family could be repaid? Oh, fuck you, no, fuck that shit, I'm not repaying my goddamn family. Or possibly, how much more would be borrowed for future business ventures? What lessons had they learned, and what could they learn from their mistakes? It seems like topics like these were discussed very seriously in the past. My dad said it was like lying on a bed of nails. Apparently it used to be a very serious family meeting where people were bathed in scornful and angry voices, and some people even got slapped despite their age. Fuck. However, that had become a thing of the past. Now, with everyone pursuing their own business ventures and achieving success, it was becoming more of a normal yearly get-together. Even so, telling grandfather about recent events was extremely stressful. So while it was nothing more than a simple get-together for us grandchildren, it was still a real stomachache for our parents. The absence of the man who was the source of all this trouble, regardless of the reason, probably made today's lunch taste much more delicious. The phrase, "while the demon is not around, everyone can relax," comes to mind. Anyway, let's introduce Jessica's fathers, whose face I haven't seen for 6 years. The man sitting to my father's left is the older brother and Jessica's father. Uncle. This name sure is easy to read. Kraus. Now that you've gotten used to this string of weird names, our perspective is totally skewed. So Kraus doesn't actually seem that bad. It even starts to sound kinda cool. Just like on Natsuhi, I didn't have many memories of speaking with Uncle Kraus. He had never been wanted to chat with children, and I felt like he was always talking with the adults, just like on Natsui. According to my father's gossip, he was a spiteful and violent man. He looks like he could be. If what he said is true, Uncle Kraus used to be very domineering from his position as the oldest sibling, and was despised by all the other siblings. Though despite that, those siblings all seemed to be chatting happily together. Oh well. Even if their relationship was bad when they were children, sometimes when people grow up and live apart from each other, their relationships change. I doubt it. There's gonna be still, like, resentment, like, residual resentment down deep inside. It's like, oh, you were a dick when you were younger. Fuck you. That's probably what this was. After all, they all had children of about the same age. By sharing the same family environment, they probably profited by exchanging opinions. Maybe because of that, a short while ago, the circle of parents began to discuss the exams Jessica and I would be taking. Jessica, in order to escape questions about exams from my father on her left, purposefully faced right while firing off a rapid series of comments, not giving him any chance to get a word in. Moving on. Let's look at the opposite from Kraus and the others. In the very last seat at the table, an old gentleman with a sturdy physique sat facing Kyrie. This was my first time meeting him. I had just been informed to help him, to have been introduced to him, but it seems he's grandfather's personal doctor, a man called Nanjo. I heard he used to own a huge clinic on the nearby island of Nijima, but he turned it over to his son and began living a life of leisure in his old age. He had known grandfather since the very beginning when the mansion was first constructed on this island, and he had built up a relationship over several decades. I thought at first that the two of them might have gotten to know each other through grandfather's suspicious hobbies, but it seems he was actually grandfather's chess partner. I see. That kind of hobby seems very like our grandfather. What with his love of all things Western. Nanjo is probably the only person who could enter a Rokunjima despite being neither a family member nor a servant. He looked like a calm old gentleman as he listened to the discussion between Kyrie and the other women who sat near to him. Considering how long he stayed by the side of our short-tempered grandfather, his generous heart was probably nothing to laugh at. Still, even if he was a family doctor, having anyone outside the Ushiromiya family attend the family conference was a little odd. It made me think that grandfather's condition might have worsened so much. It'd be a major topic of discussion at today's conference. After all, George said something like that just a second ago. Something about how we've been getting cautious reports since around last year that grandfather didn't have long to live. Sorry, continuous reports. It's nasty to think about it, but considering how rich grandfather is. At the time of his death, his wealth will suddenly be released, probably along with a fair share of our parent stomach acid, and it'll lead to ulcers for everyone. After all, this sort of thing just gets messier when there's more wealth to be divided. There's a good chance they'll be talking about stuff like that at the family conference. Still, it's not like it's got anything to do with us kids. Finally, even though he hasn't shown up, let me introduce our grandfather. The person who should be sitting in that incumbent chair is Ushiromiya Kinzo. It really sucks. Everyone else in the family has these weird names, but he's got his perfectly normal one himself. If only his name were written Kinzo, but he let us call him Goldsmith or something. I'd totally freak out. As you can probably guess by now, he's a frightening person with an extremely short temper. I'm one of his grandchildren, not a son, and I haven't seen him since elementary school. Thanks to that, I have no memories of being beaten myself, but our parents were probably raised with an iron fist. That earlier conversation between my dad and Uncle Kraus about who should go convince grandfather to come down seems pretty darn funny once you know their background. You can't really tell grandfather's story without covering that pivotal event back before the Showa era, 1926 to 1989. Until the Meiji, 1868 to 1912, and the Taisho, 1912 to 1926 eras, the Ushiromiya family was great and prosperous. They owned several spinning mills, making them rich enough to just double over laughing every day as the money kept rolling in. Incidentally, grandfather was a member of a branch family and had pretty much nothing to do with the main family. Not only was he way down the list of people who could inherit the headship, but he had hardly any contact with the glamorous main family. However, during the Great Kanto earthquake in the year Taisho 12, 1923, the mansion owned by the Ushiromiya family in Odawara was flattened. The spinning mills in Tokyo were all burned down in a huge fire, and the Ushiromiya family lost most of its wealth and the family members in an instant. So once they started trying to figure out who the successor of the Ushiromiya family should be, they apparently found no one remaining except Kinzo and his branch family. In Kinzo's last reminiscences, whatever, he referred to this as good fortune so great that it overturned fate. With that, grandfather's boring everyday life did a 180. He was entrusted with reviving the dying Ushiromiya family, which had lost nearly all of its wealth. However, just because he had been entrusted with this task didn't mean he could accomplish it. Apparently those around him weren't really expecting much. However, this is when grandfather began displaying his extraordinary talent and good luck. Grandfather used all of the family's remaining wealth, as well as everything from the hair of his head to his toenails, the hair on his head to his toenails, as collateral in order to borrow a massive amount of money. Once he'd built up a gigantic war chest, he immediately invested in businesses. It was like someone tumbling down a hill on a bike without any brakes, and then jumping onto a neighboring bike and then another one, just like some crazy street performance. I bet everyone thought grandfather had no business ability whatsoever. However, after several miracles and turns of good luck, with coincidences piling up and every chance taken advantage of, he was suddenly in control of powerful connections with the occupying forces. At that time, MacArthur and the GHQ were the ultimate authority in Japan. Grandfather, in a twinkle of an eye, began succeeding in business under the protection of the occupying forces, quickly becoming very rich. By this point, it's probably safe to say that information, not luck, saved the day. He must have made some serious deep connections with the occupying forces. Grandfather knew beforehand about emergency demands that would be made for the Korean War. No, it was more than that. He must have predicted those emergencies' demands from the very beginning, when he started investing his money. The history books make it sound like all of Japan made a large profit off the emergency demands during the Korean War, but that isn't actually true. Only a very limited number of the super rich played the money game and made an easy profit. Most of the citizens were made poor. In other words, Grandfather was a member of this extremely lucky group of winners. I'm pretty sure this all happened during the year Showa 25, 1950 or so. The Great Kanto earthquake happened in Taisho 13, so 1924, so... fuck, 26 years? That means Grandfather was able to revive the near-dead Ushiromiya family in only 20 years to a level even higher than it ever been before. With that, you'd think he'd revive the main family in Odawara. But for some reason, he went and did something as crazy as buying an entire small island in the Izo archipelago. Buying an entire island is not something that you can ordinarily do today. No, usually you can't just buy fucking islands unless you're super rich. And plus, you know, rich people own islands now. However, Grandfather was clever. He contacted the GHQ and applied for the establishment of a marine resource base. He acquired this island as a business property, then tossed the project aside and claimed it as his own plot of land. Fuck you. After the war, there were prevention measures against food shortages, and having the sponsorship of the GHQ meant that nobody could oppose him. From what I've heard, the Tokyo metropolis of that day offered this land to him practically for free. Later, Tokyo made difficulties by telling Kinzo to return the land, but the pushy GHQ intervened. Hey, fuck you, you sold it to me. Sucks to be you. Anyway, it seems under-the-table bribes did their work well. In the end, the city gave up in frustration. Grandfather, with considerable skill and good luck, managed to weather the stormy seas of that period, obtaining a vast fortune in his own island. Of course, it probably wasn't all luck. He was obsessed with all things Western, which helped him cultivate his English skills. He was able to use this to his advantage and sink his teeth into the GHQ. A mansion was built on the island soon after. This mansion, in fact. Grandfather, with his love of the Western style, made this once uninhabitable island a canvas upon which he could realize his dreams to his heart's content. He now had the Western mansion of his dreams, overflowing with emotion and atmosphere, and a beautiful garden featuring all sorts of roses. And he had a private beach where nobody other than himself would ever be permitted to leave a footprint. This would be a dream come true for any boy. After that, he made good use of his huge fortune, becoming a large stockholder in the extremely stable iron and steel industry, and was able to live an easy and comfortable life with just using the dividends. Well, he's just that incredible. This kind of person usually has the ability to foresee and predict the future, or at least that is how they are portrayed after the fact. But Grandfather denies all of that, repeatedly saying that he was simply blessed with extraordinary luck. Anyway, even a lord like that can't help but grow increasingly eccentric when locked up alone on an island, where all his dreams are made real. Everyone knows that he's had a Western obsession from the start, but none of our parents really know when this bizarre black magic hobby began. Did his love of black magic begin way back when he became fascinated with everything Western? Or did his miraculous stretch of good luck while reviving his family cause him to feel a mysterious power in himself? Probably that. At some point, Grandfather began to make the research of black magic his life's work. He filled his study up with suspicious books, chemicals, and magical items as he became increasingly bizarre. From what I've heard, those around him warmly watched over him, figuring that someone who had achieved success in life had a right to do as he pleased, but there's no way that's true. They were probably just creeped out thinking, that's disgusting, I don't want to get involved. Anyway, that agitated period was an age of big gambles, with both opportunities and risks. Let's say grandfather was born in this time period. He would have had no opportunities and would probably have advanced like a chess piece from the mandatory education to college at a leisurely pace, never becoming more than an average salaryman. If that happened, he'd probably have sat somewhere happily talking behind his boss's back. No, not in a fancy dining hall like this, more like at a table in some bar. Then again, I'll bet this family conference would be a whole lot more relaxing if that were the case. I mean, you can say that about like everyone in a different generation. They're fucked, and it's like, damn. I mean, there's just different opportunities at different times. Okay, that's enough about the old geezer. More importantly, let's talk about this incredible lunch.
前菜の刺身のサラダで俺はすでに確信してたね。幸田さんは大したシェフだぜ。しかも魚は近海で取れたやつだろ。スーパーの刺身とはわけが違ったぜ。
Well, fucking course they're gonna be different from a supermarket. They're fresh.
おいおいよせよバトラー。育ちがバレちまうだろうが。
Everyone let out a big laugh. Damn it, you say that even though you love those cheap pubs. Cheaper is really, really nice. Saving money is really, really nice.
僕も仕事の都合で珍しいところで食事をすることもあるけど、それらと比べてもこれはかなりのものだよ。合田さんは多分その道じゃ少しは知られた人だったんじゃないかな。
よくは知らねえんだけどよ。老舗ホテルでのれん分けだか派閥の分裂だかややこしいことがあってよ。
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it was that screwed it up. I'm sure he didn't like do something terrible, you know, like trying to get people fired.
そのトラブルで辞めざるを得なくなっちまったんだってさ。それでその時偶然お袋が使用人の求人を出してたわけなんだよ。
As Koda removed the empty plates, he began to recount his own bumpy past without losing his smile.
世の中というのは難しいものです。しかしそのおかげでこうして今日後ろ宮家で再び料理人として腕を振るう機会を賜ることができました。大勢の方の笑顔も嬉しいですが、お仕えすると決めた限られた方々にだけ喜んでいただくために繊細なお仕事ができるのもとても楽しいことでございます。これもすべて機会をくださった奥様のおかげです。
Stop sucking up. Koda respectively bowed his head towards Aunt Natsui.
応募のあった中で合田が一番腕が良かったからです。客観的判断に基づくもので市場はありませんので感謝には及びません。
Fuck you too, I guess. Jesus. Dang, why does Aunt Natsui always have to sound so indifferent? But when she spoke with a bit more kindness, she might leave a different impression. I swear to God, she's just a fucking bitch. Jesus Christ. Shonen and Kumasawa entered from the hallway with a serving cart.
失礼いたします。
それでは本日のデザートに移らせていただきます。
Koda and the others laid the beautifully adorned dessert out in front of us all. I guess it's true when they say you have another stomach for dessert. I thought I'd already filled up on delicious food, but as soon as I laid eyes on that dessert, my stomach started yelling more. I don't know much about desserts, but this looked really good. A white pudding-like substance was garnished with 2 shades of red sauce. An elegant rose petals adorned the plate. Normally, during a high-class meal like this, you're supposed to wait for the chef to extol the virtues of this particular meal before eating. However, Maria was completely indifferent to strict rules like that, so she got excited by this beautiful and delicious-looking dessert, jumping into the fray as soon as it was placed before her. Aunt Rosa scolded her, calling it bad manners. Well, it is. It is. But George responded by saying, "Oh no, it's okay. Fuck off, George. Stop it. Don't encourage her."
こっちの酸っぱい。こっちの酸っぱい。バトラ、こ
Fuck off. Maria exclaimed as she sampled the two colored sauces.
なんだと？当たりと外れがあるのかよ。よし、俺も味見をしてやるぜ。
Yo, I'd just fucking eat it. I don't care. Oh, it tastes bad. To a child, it might taste bad. Who knows? It probably doesn't taste. It probably tastes fine. Apparently, one sauce was sweet and the other sour. Despite it being bad manners, I also stuck my little finger in it and licked it. Oh my. Dude, you know better than that. She's a child at least. Whoa, one of the sauces was sour enough to make you pucker up. If it were yellow, I'd have suspected lemon, but I couldn't guess what kind of sourness would be red. If I actually sat here and thought about it, I probably could come up with something. I decided to ask Shannon, who was putting away the serving cart behind us. She's not gonna fucking know.
シャノンちゃん、この酸っぱいのは何のソースだい？
Unless, of course, she made it, and then it'll be like, yeah, she knows what it is. There you go. No idea. Shannon hesitated. Maybe her job was just to set the table, so she doesn't really know. Still, even considering that, she seems pretty stressed. Maybe I shouldn't have asked. It just seems like you just don't ask her any fucking questions. Or did they use some ingredient that we'd be better off not knowing about? Food coloring. While Aunt Natsui made a gesture that seemed to indicate an ongoing headache, Kumasawa, who was setting the table at the opposite seat, began to chuckle.
何の材料を使っていると思いますか？
Fuck off, Kumasawa.
驚きますよ。
Ah, god damn it.
わ、全然わかんねえぜ。というか、熊沢のばあさんがそういう笑い方すると不気味でならねえぜ。で、何なんだよ、正体は。
内緒ですよ。
Stop it.
お耳を拝借。
God damn it. Kumasawa leaned across from the other side of the table. I leaned forward myself when she asked. Their interest caught Jessica, George, and of course Maria, who also put their ears closer. Yeah, you tell her, Maria.
この酸っぱいのはですね。
Don't say fucking blood.
実はお魚のサバの絞り汁ですよ。
サバ？
That's crazy, we all thought, horrified. Only Maria accepted it, nodding sagely.
ほう、サバは酸っぱいよ。絞ったらこうなる。
Maria, don't go start fucking squeezing every one of them. When Maria started clamoring that mackerel were sour, the adults were unable to contain their laughter.
違うわよ。酸っぱいのはしめ鯖でしょ。
Only Aunt Rosa, her face red, whispered to Maria that mackerel is sour only once prepared as shimezaba. Ah, now I totally remember. Kumasawa was always like this, wasn't she? I think I remember her tricking me too in all sorts of ways when I was young. The most lethal has got to be that one. Those flimsy black things in Chinese dishes. They're kiguragi, mushrooms, sure. She told me they were penguin meat, and I went all around school like a smartass telling everyone, didn't I?
熊沢のばあちゃん、相変わらずだな。マリアが信じちゃうだろ？
冗談ですよ。
Fuck off, Kumasawa.
今からゴーダさんがソースの正体を教えてくれますからね。
Goda looked a little put off about his masterpiece being laughed at for such a bizarre reason. But after clearing his throat once, he reintroduced the dish to us.
それではデザートのご説明をさせていただきます。本日はご来賓の皆様が大層お気に入りでございましたバラの庭園にちなみまして、パンナコッタをローズガーデン風に仕上げてみました。散らしてございますバラの花びらは当家の庭園より先ほど採取してきたものでございます。 ソースはストロベリーとローズヒップの2色の赤をご用意しました。ストロベリーの甘味とローズヒップの酸味を交互にお楽しみになってください。なお花びらは観賞用となっておりますので、避けてからお召し上がりくださいませ。
God, the fucking people who eat like garnishes off a fucking plate. Oh my god, that is just hilarious. Oh, what's this nice piece of green stuff that's just on the side? Oh, I'm gonna eat it. No, don't fucking eat stuff that shouldn't be eaten. No, you probably said that for Maria. Maria, don't eat the rose petals, please.
それではどうぞお楽しみください。
Whoa, man, I almost want to applaud before eating. Why? Doesn't sound... I mean, it sounds alright, but it's like... I don't know what it actually tastes like, though. You didn't really, like, go into detail what it's gonna taste like, you know, how good it is, you know, all that stuff. Come on, man. You're slacking on your job. Just like with medicine, reading the detailed description first seems to make it work a whole lot better. No, you just fucking pop random pills and hope it works. As Goda elaborated on the details of this dessert, it started to feel even more appetizing. Everything will, once you do that. Seriously, should you call him subtle or just talented? The dessert was probably planned from the beginning, but taking the hint when we all stopped in front of the rose garden earlier today, he displayed an incredible and timely awareness by just adding a few rose petals from that garden. This combination of sweet and sour was also exquisite. If it was just sweet, you'd just get used to it and bored halfway through. But if you reached the sour sauce at that point, you'd get a really vivid taste. And then once you returned to the sweet sauce, all of the sourness in your mouth would be replaced with an enjoyable sweetness. I'm sure everyone else felt the same way. Every time Goda passed by one of our seats, someone praised the taste in his presentation.